Good morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, 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 morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning, Barbados. Good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning, morning, Barbados. Good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Good morning to you on this Thursday, October 17th. Wonderful to have you in company. Time to say morning, Barbados. Oh, I hope you had a good night last night. A great night's rest, and you got all of the rest you needed. And if you didn't, make sure you make up for it today. I'm Tisha Hines. I'll be here with you until 8 o'clock this morning, and we're going to have a good time. We have lots of things to get through, so it definitely is a packed Morning Barbados show today. Remember, you can follow us wherever socials are. You can find us online as well, and we're streaming. So welcome to those of you joining us across the miles, wherever you are around the world, across the diaspora, joining in for Morning Barbados to get a little taste of home. We are happy to have you in company. Now, you'd know at this time of year, it's when the Food and Rum Festival comes around. And this time around, Q in the community is going to feature heavily at the Food and Rum Festival. You know there will be a Food and Rum Fair coming up on Sunday, October 20th. That's this coming Sunday. And we're inviting you to come out to the Q Zone. It's going to be at Kensington Oval during the Bajan Fair that's happening. So DJ Scorpion will be there with all your favorite Q music and, of course, dancing. And you can't have a Q without what? Karaoke, of course. So enter the karaoke for a chance to win a fantastic staycation. The admission is only $20 for adults for the Bajan Fair with that special Q Zone free to enter after you get into the fair. The event is going to get started around 12 noon and it goes until 8 o'clock with the live broadcast on QFM between 3 and 6 o'clock in the afternoon. Don't forget this special Bajan Fair and Q Zone is sponsored by the Barbados Food and Rum Festival. So make sure you get out and be a part of it. And we know lots of you are Q fans, so that should be a great afternoon for you enjoying all things Barbadian. Now, as we get into today's show, we wanted to start with by telling you about an upcoming public lecture. It's entitled A Path of Peace, Love and Happiness for Humanity to Help Overcome Living in Fear and Anxiety. And to tell us lots more about that, we'd like to welcome Mr. Lalu Vashwani, Deputy Central Coordinator, right here in Barbados and for the West Indies as well, for the initiative behind it. We'll tell you more about that. Good morning, Mr. Vashwani. Good to have you in studio.
Good morning, Tisha. So happy to be back with you again. Thank you for having us. The SAI organization, as part of its general outreach to sharing our information and awareness, we're having this public meeting, as you say. It's on Friday at 6 p.m. at the NUPW headquarters, and the title is A Path to Peace, Love and Happiness for Humanity. And we have with us our Mr. Leonardo Guter. He's from Argentina, and he is a council member of the Prashanti Council, which is the apex council in the SAI International Organization. We are based in over 110 countries, and he's here. We are so honored to have him here to speak. He's a very, very well-known speaker throughout the world, and we're very happy to have. And there's no charge for coming, and it will be a very delightful evening.
Good stuff. That's excellent. So Dr. Guter is here with us. And we also have joining us on Morning Barbados today, Mukesh Jugani, who is the National Council President here in Barbados. So good morning to you.
Good morning, ma'am. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. I feel like I've spoken to all of you before, just online. Last time we had a conversation, it was online. So for those people who don't know Mr. Vashwani, let's start at the very beginning, so to speak,
yes,
and allow our audience to know about the foundation.
Okay.
The
Satya Sai International Organization is a spiritual and humanitarian organization. It's a non-profit organization, and its primary purpose is to help each individual realize their true identity, who we are, that within us are all the 5 human values of peace, love, truth, nonviolence. And once we realize that we focus all our activities, thoughts, words, and deeds, let them permeate with all those values that are already within us, and share it in all our deeds of daily living. And the organization, as I said, is based in 110 countries, and we have spiritual activities such as devotional singing to all the names of the forms of God, because we are spiritual, so we embrace every religion, or no religion if you want to, you can come, because it's all about finding out who you are and sharing that love among. But primary about it is, apart from your individual self-development, it's also about selfless service to humanity. It is through that means that you realize that you and I are one. Outwardly we may say, no, but I look different. Okay, that's true. But inwardly we have one common spirit, one universal consciousness, which we are a part. And when we share to others, the joy you give somebody else by helping, by getting the opportunity to help them, eases your pain and gives you joy and happiness. So through selfless service, we realize our universal oneness.
Wonderful. Mr. Chugani, from you as the person really working as the National Council President here in Barbados, let's talk more about maybe the work or the engagements that happen here on island.
I didn't get that.
What happens here on island through the organization?
Oh, the spiritual activities.
Yes.
Well, for the last 2 years, we have embarked on a project called Constant Awareness. So we are trying to bring awareness in our members of what they represent, what their activity represents. So we're bringing out in them the divine consciousness, because service to man is service to God directly. So in that regards, we do multiple projects. There are adoption family, where we feed them, give them regular grocery hampers. Then we do a lot of tree planting, because nature is part and parcel of our growth, because without nature, man cannot survive, because trees are very important as they give us oxygen. So that has taken a forefront in our activities. In fact, we are planning to plant around 60 trees at the end of this month. So Peg Farm has been very kind enough to offer us their land, and we have been doing planting since last year. And thus far we have planted, I think, in excess of 120, 130 plants. So that is an ongoing project. We also work hand in hand with Prison Fellowship, because incarcerated prisoners whose families are left behind, they need a constant assistance. So this organization helps out. So we also give them assistance by providing them groceries or prepared meals at times. And we also helped them recently with back to school projects. So as Brother Lalu said, the more you give, the more joy you feel. Because when you see someone who is in need and you give them what they require and you see that smile, no money can buy that.
I know there absolutely is nothing like it. Now for you, Dr. Guter, you'll be delivering the lecture, and it really is based on everything that these two gentlemen has told us about.
Exactly.
So talk to me a little bit about your prep for this particular lecture. And, we've talked extensively about being able to adapt everything that you stand for under this organization to be able to move forward. So let's talk about the lecture.
Okay, I've just came from Panama and El Salvador. I'm giving the lectures in all these countries. And the whole idea is to help the people understand what is this life, what is the purpose of life, and how can we achieve it. And find a way, in this life we go through ups and downs, happiness and sorrow, and this happens to every human being, doesn't matter their country, their culture. And Satya Sai Baba, who is our spiritual master, has been giving us a perfect explanation of these questions. What is the meaning of life? what is the purpose, how can we live properly to be more happy, to have more peace in our lives. So I will share his teachings and his recommendation. We call it practical spirituality, which are very simple and at the same time not so easy to apply, but we are sure that if you start applying these teachings, you will change the way you are feeling this life. For example, we will tell them, start not to be angry anymore. And we will explain why. Start not criticizing any other human being. Start not entertaining any bad thought in your mind. Just don't recognize it. Don't pay any more attention to it. These are simple tools, but if we're able to live following these tools, then we'll feel a change in our life. And then Sai Baba says that the purpose of this life is, as he said before, to recognize who we are, to realize our real identity. So we are going to give also some hints about how can we advance in this acknowledgement. And Sai Baba summarized this in a way of living that says, hands that help are holier than lips that pray, or help ever, heart never. So this is a practical way of living that we want to share with all the people in this beautiful country. That's why we're holding this public meeting on Friday, and it's free of charge for everybody. And I hope that all the people that are watching our program will come.
All right, wonderful. I have a quote to live by already. Hands that help are holier than lips that pray.
Yes.
And, you know, that says a great deal. I think that summarizes everything nicely. Who are we targeting with this particular conference? Who can come out and be a part of it? And how can they?
Honestly, it is for everyone, because everyone seeks happiness. Everyone wants to feel and share love. And it's really to make anyone happy. And therefore, if you feel that it touches you, you should come. And as I say, it's at the NUPW headquarters in Dalkeith Road, and there's lots of space. And we'd like you to come and really feel it. And you will be very inspired. I promise you that.
Excellent. So there's no registration necessary. People are encouraged, Mrs. Jugani, to just come out and participate. What are you looking forward to most as well?
As we say, we send out invitations online and everybody, but it's an open house. I mean, people are welcome to come. There is a number that they can call to register, and it also is an online thing. But Brother Lalu
no need to
can
register.
give
Just
us
come
further
and
details.
come and you will find a way to leave the meeting more happy than when you came.
I believe you. When, you know, what are you expecting of this particular public lecture? You know, what are your personal expectations? Being in the areas of service that you are in so many ways, I'm sure that you expect there to be not necessarily a set outcome, but you might have a few things that you'd hope to accomplish as a group, as an organization.
Well, I mean, basic concept of us is to raise awareness, right? And in that regards, we are in line with our Prime Minister sending out challenge to us to raise to occasions where we can somehow control the violence and negative nature that is coming up. So we are taking our little steps towards that to bring about peace and harmony. And that is what is our goal. So to have a harmonious Barbadians diaspora, to bring about that change that is needed, that little shift in thinking, that service to man is service to God. Love all, serve all. That is our founders' teaching. And that is where we are hoping that this shift can happen in the thinking of man.
And I know for you, Mr. Vashwani, you feel as though this teaching or this way of thinking and living can be adapted in all areas of life to be able to see a shift in different areas. So education, you talked about the general mindset and how we engage with each other, but you think it certainly can be adapted across the board.
Absolutely. I mean, if you put on dark glasses, everything suddenly looks dark. You put on rose-colored glasses, you see through that perspective. So it is your attitude, your outlook that shapes you. You might see many things wrong, but you might see the one beautiful smile that you have, and that takes away all the other things that distract you. So it is really teaching yourself, knowing yourself, and from that teaching yourself through your behavior and conduct how you should be. And this is why another branch of our organization, the Sci Institute of Education, again, that's in over 40 countries. We have 40 schools in 29 countries. And that's what we do. We have a character development program that's not seeking to make change, but to transform. Because when you're transformed, it comes from within. Nobody has to remind you. Change is do this, do this, do this. But when the person is not there, you may not do that. But if you're transformed because you realize it's within you, if somebody speaks harsh to me, your mother will always smile back with you. No, my love, don't do that. And you wonder, where does she get this reservoir of patience? Because she has tapped into herself. And when they go, you never forget them because you remember, oh, but how would she handle this situation? And so all of us have that capacity. There's no limitation, but it's only to have an open mind and we focus. And for that reason, our institute throughout the world produce books and material, and we have an education in human values program that's experiential. So we teach the teachers how to experience in their own lives and transform that and translate that into showing students how to do it. But it's not just students, it's applicable even to adults, in the community, in the workplace, because wherever we have people, we have these important feelings, and we have to learn to lift up each other. And I'm happy to say that one of our institutes in Australia, the Sci Institute there, they produced a book called How Values Education Can Improve Students and Teachers' Well-Being. And I'm happy to say there's a bookstore called Percy's at Carter's. They will have it available there.
We have the book here, actually, as a matter of fact.
Oh, wonderful, yes.
Show it off.
Yeah, so it's a wonderful book. It was written by Dr. Margaret Taplin and two other colleagues, Mr. Peckham and Mr. Walker. And I don't know if you recall that last year around this time we had an international conference. Well, you will recall, you were part of that conference.
Absolutely. I enjoyed it tremendously.
Yeah. And so they together produced this book. And really, it's for the whole globe. We don't do things for ourselves. It's another example of service to mankind. And everybody can benefit from it.
Dr. Guder, what are some of the success stories that you've seen as a result of your travel? You said you're just here from Panama. I'm jealous about that, but I won't dwell on it.
Well, I've been traveling for the last 45 years to many countries, not only all over Latin America, but in other continents. What I can tell you is that I have seen the effect of Sai Baba's teachings in transforming the life of people to be more happy, to accept their circumstances and to react better. So I have seen my own transformation and the transformation of the people that follow his teachings. So this is what we want to share, that there is a way, there is a possibility of living more happy. It's not a way that you will be all the time happy and you will get a lot of money, but under your circumstances, you will react better. When Sai Baba asks what is spirituality, he says very simply, to eradicate the bad qualities and let flourish the human values in your life. But you have to apply this in all areas, in your with your family, in your work, in your community. So when you do that, you become every day a better person, and you feel better with your own consciousness. You sleep better at night, and you feel less anguish, less anxiety, less stress. So this is what we want to share, a way of living that would be better than the normal way of living.
Yeah, the power of positive thinking. And for you, Talk to us about some of the successes you have seen in sharing with the Barbadians and the people here who are part of the organization.
Well, when our organization began formally, that was quite about 40 years back, we had a project called, we were thinking what to do, how to reach out. And one of the projects we were thinking about was soup kitchen. The soup kitchen project was not feasible because it needed a place. So we decided, okay, we're going to pack the packages and go out. In those days, we took out about 25 lunches. Took us nearly 4 hours to deliver, to find people. Today, I can easily give out 25 lunches within 20 minutes. This is our signature project. Over the years, multiple organizations have met our drivers outside who are giving, the servers who are giving, and they have interacted. And they like what they heard. So there are multiple organizations now who are serving vagrants on the street on a daily constant basis. So we still do it in a small manner because we don't want to overdo multiple things that are happening. So we have more or less withdrawn a little bit, and we are now doing that on bank holidays, because those are the holidays that other organizations don't come out. So that's one of our signature projects. A funny story in this one is, one time when we were delivering and we had the van door open, and there was a guy who came on a bicycle, and he took a circle around the van, and then this lady had the food in her hand ready to give to the vagrant. So this guy made a circle, and he made a next circle. With that next circle, without getting off the bike, he picked the food from the hand and drove off. So we both looked at each other, what happened here? So I told my sister there, sister, we just created history. She said, what history do you? Very first time in Barbados, drive through. So, so our good Lord is also a great jokester. So, when you get these types of impression comes, you have to go with the flow.
Yeah, it's also about how you put things into context, because you could have seen that as a negative thing. You could have reacted in a
Yes.
different manner. You could have thought about it, but here you are all this while later having a laugh about it. And I'm sure you were able to make sure that the original gentleman got back his package so he could have.
That's why we always
Use that.
prepare a little extra.
Absolutely. So final words from you, Mr. Lalu Vashwani, on why people should come out. So your personal appeal based on, all that you expect, what you've seen here in Barbados, and how you think the organization can help move us forward.
Why you should come out is when you go to the doctor, they prescribe medicine. You buy the medicine. Do you put it in your pocket or your purse, or do you take it and use it?
Put it in action.
Put it in action. So this is a chance to get the medication, in quotation, and put it in action, not because somebody told you, because it will resonate with your heart, because our program and our teacher is always heart to heart. He's heartificial with an H in all things that you do. So automatically, whatever you think of sincerely can manifest in your life. Yesterday, I was showing Dr. Guter the beach in Accra. He likes to go to the ocean. And a gentleman says, I like your car, can I have it? I say, you can. Go within and go to the source. And if you do it sincerely, whatever you want in your life, you can get. Even something more beneficial than material things. But many times we focus on material things which don't last. But that's okay. And so it's an appeal to whoever is touched by this message. You can come and be inspired. And inspired is like a candle. It's no good to you alone. Share it with one another, and we all lift ourselves up.
What do you want people to know, Dr. Guter, in thinking about coming to hear you present this lecture on Friday. Share with them why they should come out and support the
I think
efforts.
that they all have a chance to know something else that may change their lives forever. We are all in the process of evolution, and the real evolution is to become a better human being, to expand the magnitude of our love, our compassion, to become really better human beings in this planet. So I hope that everybody that will come will receive a seed that will sprout at the right time and will change their lives forever.
Okay, and for you? Finally, final appeal as to why people should come out.
Well, everything has been said by the gentleman already here. And we will love to see everyone over there. We will love to share our love and hope to see everyone over there.
All right, again, it's a path of peace, love, and happiness for humanity to help overcome living in fear and anxiety. And it comes off this Friday, October 18th. It's at the NUPW headquarters. You don't have to worry about parking or anything else. Great space, centrally located, and it starts at 6 o'clock in the evening. That means that you can come off work and you still have time to be able to get there and be a part of it. Thank you so much, Dr. Guter, Mr. Shugani, and of course, Mr. Vashrani, for coming in and sharing with us.
Thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely. And, we have lots of things that we can take away from this interview. Just 3 that I took note of. Be slow to anger, stop criticizing others, and set aside negative thoughts. Something for all of us today. It's time for another break, but stay with us. There's lots more coming up.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. It's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet.
You know why?
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
27 minutes now before 7 o'clock. We have a familiar face joining us now on Morning Barbados. And this time he's back in the next chapter to share another book. We're always lucky to have you coming in and sharing about your books. Dr. Charleston Brathwaite is a former Director General of ICA. And so much more. Of course, you were Barbados Ambassador to China. You were a senator, so we can go on and on and on about all of this. But I would imagine that as Director General of ICA, is where a lot of this comes from, because this particular book is called Producing Food in Small Spaces, a strategy to improve household food security in Barbados. And it's very timely that we would have this book and this discussion at this time, given that yesterday was World Food Day. Yes, so your background, I would imagine, as Director General of ICA, has put you in a well-placed position to be able to share on food security generally, but you're going specific on what we can do here in Barbados.
Good morning, Tisha.
Good morning again.
And good morning to Barbados. I am indeed pleased to be back at CBC and have the opportunity to share with you some of my writings. Since returning from China, one of the things that I have been doing is having a backyard garden. And a garden is a wonderful place. It's a place for relaxation. It's a place to produce healthy food. And it's a place to connect with nature. To begin to realize that in this fast-paced world of the 21st century, with all the digital transformation and all the other technologies, that nature and its slow processes are still the basis of life. And one of the fundamental elements of that basis is producing food. We in Barbados have had over the years challenges in producing our own food. We import a substantial amount of our food. And so my book is to try to create for the average Barbadian the confidence and the knowledge to produce more of our own food here in Barbados. And the book is simple. It is a booklet. It's not really a book. It's a booklet of my thoughts. I have gathered information from colleagues in the university and others who have gone before me. And I thought I would write something that says, you don't have to have an acre of land. You don't have to have a plantation. You can, in fact, in a small space, produce some of your own food. Even if it's only growing one plant to begin with, you can produce some of your own food. So it is that concept that is embodied in the book.
How does that start to tie into the concept for those people who are thinking, yeah, but this doesn't necessarily fulfill all my needs in terms of nutrition security? So for those people, by starting this small garden with maybe just a few things, how does this begin to tie into what we want overall as a nation in moving toward becoming, secure?
I can tell you, Tisha, there are a lot of nations that depend on individuals producing their own food to strengthen their food security. And you will remember that in the old days, in the villages, we exchange food among the neighbors. If I had okras and you had pumpkin, you give me pumpkin, I give you okras. I had corn, you have beans, you give me beans. The sense of sharing is an element that is very much part of my book. That in the real sense, that sharing also builds community. It builds cooperation. It builds relationships. And I think it's especially good for people who are retired. You're retired and you have time, plant a garden, plant some food. Just recently, I told a lady who was worried, she said she bought a plant and soon after the plant died. I said, well, how did the plant die? She said, well, I don't know, but the plant just died. I said, what did you do? She said, well, I watered it and I gave it all the love and care that I think I should give, but it just died. And I went further to investigate and found out that the plant was in a pot, but the pot had no holes in it. So the water that she gave
drowned the plant.
Drowned the plant. Because the plant requires, the roots of the plant require nutrients, water, but they also require oxygen. So if you kill the plant, you're not going anywhere.
That's probably
and these are simple principles which we need to understand. Written in the book, you must give the plant light, water, and the roots must have oxygen. So there must be sufficient drainage of the water so you don't kill the plant.
What I love about this, you call it a booklet, what I love about it is it's not only giving you information about why you need to do it, it's how to.
How to.
As well. So
Yes.
it's almost like a recipe book for planting.
It is
So
indeed.
it's not a recipe book for cooking or making the food.
No.
It's a recipe book for growing the food.
For growing the food.
Yes. So you know, where do you gather all of this experience? Is this all research, or is there a small garden with all of these things somewhere in your close
It
proximity?
doesn't have all, but I have a garden at Claremont, which is just 900 square feet of land that I have reserved as a garden. And there I grow most of my vegetables. Not all, most of my vegetables. I also have a couple of rabbits. So I also grow some protein in addition to the vegetables. And it is a great hobby. Relaxation, something to do, which is so important, and something to look forward to every day. There is no greater satisfaction than planting something and seeing it grow to harvest, and being able to harvest it, take it to the kitchen, cook it, and eat it. Oh, the satisfaction is tremendous.
Yeah. Your stint as Director General, and there are many firsts for you in that capacity. Has that kind of poured into your way of thinking, such that you are here at this position where you're still thinking about all the things you worked toward during the time that you wore that hat to be able to give us this recipe book of sorts?
Well, to a large extent, my experience working for ICA has been very interesting in that I was able to see agricultural development in 34 countries of the hemisphere up close, and to see what it is other countries do to promote their own food security. Countries like Brazil, as Chile, Argentina, Ecuador, our countries, Mexico, have done great work in promoting their own food security. And the important part of that food security is not only government actions, but actions by the people, by the community, by family farms who have taken the responsibility to feed themselves and to share with others what they produce. And this is important because many of us think, well, you know, food security, and that is the responsibility of the government. It's the responsibility of the Ministry of Agriculture. It's the responsibility of somebody else. No, it is our responsibility. We all have a stake in this. Just recently I saw where Professor Moore at the university indicated that in July of this year, Barbados imported $65 million of food. 1 month. $65 million of food. The exports for that month in the food sector was 7 million. So the imbalance in trade in the food area is significant in Barbados. And if you import $65 million of food in 1 month, just think about it. The possibility is that you're going to import $800 million of food in a year. And we can't afford it. We can no longer afford to spend our money importing food from abroad to feed ourselves and the tourists. Because what is happening, even the money that the tourists bring to our country, we are using it to buy food to feed the tourists. Well, you know, at the end of the day, doesn't make sense. Because a significant amount of the income that you should be getting, which you can use to fix the roads and to pay for the hospital, you're using it to buy food. When in fact, we should be producing more of our own food and therefore saving foreign exchange. And that's an important message, I think, that's important for all Barbadians. We all have a stake in this to help our country to be more sustainable. With the war in Gaza, the war in Ukraine, the challenges we're having with transport and the logistics, it is important that we produce our own food. And food is not like motor cars and television. You can do without those, but you have to eat every day. And this is important to recognize. Food is a right and something that we should concentrate more of our efforts on to become more food sufficient.
Now, Dr. Brathwaite, you've also been able to work over time with students in sharing this knowledge and information. So tell us a little bit about the programs you've been able to share with students across Barbados.
Well, we've been working with schools recently. We were at the school in St. Barnabas, where we introduce an aquaponics system to show students how you can grow food in small spaces using an aquaponics system. Aquaponics is basically growing fish and vegetables together in a symbiotic system. What happens in that system is that the fish produce ammonia, which is converted to nitrates for the plants, and the plants absorb the nitrates and remove the nitrogen that is toxic to the fish. So it's a symbiotic relationship. And the children are fascinated when I explain this to them, because the system itself, they become excited by seeing fish and plants growing together. What is this? It's a new technology. In fact, just recently I recognized that NASA, the National Space Administration of the United States, is looking at aquaponics for use in space. Because in space, first of all, you have limited space in the International Space Station, and you need to provide fresh vegetables for the astronauts in space instead of giving them all the dried material that is mixed with water for them to eat. So NASA is looking at aquaponics as a potential technology for use in space. And this is very interesting. As a matter of fact, I would offer them my green machine, which I've developed, if they're interested.
Well, we're interested in hearing more about this green machine.
They could use it on the space station and grow vegetables for the astronauts. So not only am I talking about food security on Earth, I'm talking about food security in space also, and how we can grow fresh vegetables for people, not only on Earth, but in space. So it's an interesting...
We want you to concentrate on Earth first, so that so we can get the level of security we have here.
Well, I want to concentrate on Barbados first, and then we'll talk about space after.
That's a wonderful move, and it's good that you're also, sharing that information with younger people. When we talk about skills and skills-based learning, I think it's important to note for something like this to be able to start a small kitchen garden, to be able to grow your own fruit and vegetables. Even though it's a Barbadian legacy, I think we've come to a place where people feel like, I need some special skills to be able to do this. So, let's put that to bed in terms of, you being able to share that you must have a little oxygen for the roots so that you don't drown the plants, which is helpful to people like me who don't have green thumbs, or maybe I just think I don't. This book really lays it all out in terms of what you can do with whatever space you have available.
Yes, that's the idea. The idea is to use all the space that you have available. Just yesterday I heard somebody on the television, a gentleman from the Ministry of Agriculture, talking about digging up your lawn and planting food.
Again?
Well, after the Second World War, the Victory Gardens in the United Kingdom was a fad. I mean, the idea was that the gardens and the agricultural areas were destroyed by the war, and people had to begin to plant their own food. And Victory Gardens became a very common way of providing for the needs of the bottom so the water can get out, and plant a sweet potato slip. In 3 months' time, you have sweet potatoes. It can be done.
A lot of us don't think it's that easy.
Not too difficult.
But it's wonderful that you've been able to see all of this in this one simple book. How long did it take you to pull it together?
About a year, but it's experience that has accumulated over time. But just sitting there writing, it took me a little while to put it together. As I said, I depend on experiences of others. Mr. Maxime, my colleague and a former student of mine, who lives in Grenada, he was able to contribute to it. Wayne Ganpat, Professor Wayne Ganpat at the University of West Indies in Trinidad, he also contributed to it. And now we have a document that we can share. I have made it available to the University of West Indies bookshop at Cave Hill, and so it is available there. And I'm hoping to have it available at all the plant shops in Barbados. So it'll be available, and it's not expensive. $25 is accessible, affordable. People can get a copy and read it, and I think it will provide useful information on how to grow food in small spaces.
Absolutely.
That's my new mantra.
Reflecting on, the stint that you had as a senator here in Barbados, I know there was much discussion about NCDs, and it really has amped up in recent times as well, the importance of Barbadians consuming a certain type of food and eating a certain way.
Yeah.
And I know that you address a lot of these things in the book as well.
I tried.
Yeah.
Really, I think the government must be commended for establishing a food nutrition policy for schools. I think it's a step in the right direction, and I would like to see a national nutrition policy for all of us, so that here in Barbados we can do a lot more to reduce NCDs, the diabetes and the high blood pressure and the other problems we have in the health sector, reduce the cost of the hospital. And I think there's room there for some very important work to be done. Growing more fresh vegetables, eating healthier, exercise is a very important part of that formula, and doing more to help our nation become a healthy nation. You know, we have noticed recently a significant increase in the number of centenarians in our country, and that's a good sign. But we must remember that those people who are celebrating 100 years now were eating yams and sweet potatoes and eddos in the past. In other words, it is not what they're eating now, it is what they ate when they were young that has allowed them to reach 100 years. And therefore we have to go back and look at the nutrition, that traditional nutrition that we had, the flying fish and the yams and the sweet potatoes and the breadfruit, that these 100-year-old people ate then, that has allowed them to become 100 years today. So if we want to have more centenarians, we have to eat healthy food.
What's your favorite thing to plant?
I have 8 vegetables in my garden.
8?
And I have a couple of rabbits, and I have tilapia fish, and I have a breadfruit tree. So, not so long ago, I remember we had a dish of breadfruit, grilled tilapia, and vegetables, all from my garden. Did not have to go to the supermarket for anything. And I have herbs, of course, for seasoning the fish, seasoning the meat, etc. So I am here to share the knowledge, to share the information, and anyone who wants to visit my garden, we can make arrangements for you to come and see what
I'm ready. And then, of course, you didn't answer my question. I asked you what was your favorite thing to plant, and you said, I have everything in there. I can
Not
make a full
everything,
meal.
almost everything.
So you don't have a favorite thing to plant? Maybe the herbs?
The herbs are favorite, but my favorite really is the green vegetable, the lettuce, the kale, the Chinese cabbage. These are the things that, and spinach. Spinach is a very important thing. It grows easily in the aquaponic system, and it makes a wonderful omelette.
All right, you definitely should be, you know, a spokesperson for these things. Getting back to the book, though, like I said, it's almost like a recipe for planting. It's a recipe for growing things. So you talk about the importance of weeding and clearing the weeds and molds that you could do, management, spacing, fertilizing. Did this call for a lot of research, or because of your position and what you've done throughout the years and the experience of moving across those 34 countries that you talked about, is this how you were able to garner all of this information that you share within the pages?
There's information collected over the years. This has been a long journey. Almost 54 years in the field and visiting so many countries. And my experience in China was particularly interesting, to see how the Chinese are able to feed 1.4 billion people, and they do not import a significant amount of their food. And the policies that they have implemented in ensuring that China becomes a food secure nation is very interesting, because the revolution that took place in the development of the new China took place with a revolution in the agricultural sector, in which they recognized the importance of promoting agriculture and food security as the bedrock of their development. And this is something that is so significant for the rest of the world. We don't talk about it all the time. We get to hear about the new technology, the advances in communication, the internet, etc., etc. But at the bottom of all this is the level of food security that is fundamental to the progress of the nation. As a matter of fact, food is the bedrock of all development. It's the biggest industry in the world because we have to eat every day. No, you don't have to bathe every day, but you have to eat every day. It's fundamental. So, in a real sense, it is the bedrock of all development. And if we can produce more of what we consume, our country has the potential to grow faster than it's currently growing, because then we do not export our wealth by buying food from abroad.
As we reflect on World Health Day that happened yesterday, and what you're trying to accomplish through this book, World Food Day, rather, my apologies. As we reflect on World Food Day yesterday and all you're trying to accomplish in food security here in Barbados through this book, what would be your general message to Barbadians? A lot of the times we don't think that because our projects might be little ones, that they contribute to a greater good in the way that they can. So what would be your general message to the average Barbadian who's thinking, I don't have that much space, I don't have that much time, and I really don't have a green thumb?
My message is that, in a real sense, start with one plant. And with one plant, you learn how to manage a garden. As I said, the longest journey begins with a single step. And if you start by growing one plant successfully, you get the confidence to grow two plants. And then you get the confidence to grow a garden. So give it a try. The benefit and the satisfaction derived from seeing a plant grow is a great satisfaction which we all can enjoy. And for the children at school, I think it's very important that they understand the beauty of nature, its benefits in terms of a healthy lifestyle, respect for the environment, which is so important today with climate change and all the challenges we have, and the ability to be able to derive that satisfaction from that connection with nature is a beautiful thing. I believe we all can enjoy the beauty of growing our own food.
Excellent. I'm inspired, Dr. Brathwaite. Producing food in small spaces, a strategy to improve household food security in Barbados. Insights by Dr. Charleston Brathwaite. Congratulations on the booklet. You're calling it, but it is a book. So, lots for us to see and do within the pages. It's available at the
University
UE Bookshop. And hopefully wherever you can buy plant food and seeds and all of that wonderful stuff. We look forward to seeing more on this and having far more discussions about all the ways we can continue to be secure and feel secure with our nutrition. Thank you.
Well, thank you. This is the first edition, and we look forward to the feedback from the community. And when we get that, we'll prepare a second edition to satisfy the needs of Barbados in this area of food security.
Feedback. He's choosing his words very carefully. And it would be remiss of me not to mention, because I know we have lots of people who went to the Modern High School watching every morning. Good morning to you, Wendy. Not to say that Dr. Brathwaite went to the Modern High School as well. So good morning to all of the Modernites.
Very proud of that.
Thank you very much for coming in. Always wonderful to have you with us. And I'd like to invite you and all of Barbados as well, but it's going to be a wonderful time to be had by everyone. It gets started around 12 noon, goes up until 8 o'clock in the evening. Around 12 noon, goes up until 8 o'clock in the evening. And we're going to broadcast live from 3 to 6 on Q100.7 FM. Hey, it's time for a break here on Morning Barbados. When we come back, we'll give you an update of the news. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
My friend, you don't plan to get it. Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
It's October 17th, time for an update of the news here on Morning Barbados. Barbadians need to begin to export services on a global scale and see itself as market shapers rather than market takers. And in an effort to do this, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade is set to begin talks with Canada. Already, there is an existing agreement with the North American country known as CARI-CAN, which focuses on goods and craft and lasts until December of 2033. Mr. Simmons was speaking while addressing a meeting hosted by the Barbados Coalition of Service Industries.
The conversation therefore has to be on the global, how we fit ourselves in to the global expansion of trade and services. And what are the services that we are developing and how best we are going to be able to target those niche areas which are going to give us the best of opportunities.
The minister says similar conversations need to be had with the United States of America, but he says that will be dictated by the outcome of the November 5th election.
What we are saying that we want to have an understanding on is that our small space Barbados, our small space CARICOM can never really pose a threat to the business enterprise of the United States of America. What can pose a threat to the United States of America is your the level of immigration that you're trying to fight, especially if it is illegal immigration. And so therefore, why not help nourish the economic opportunity on this side of the world, keep people here, keep people employed, keep people happily in a position to spend, and those who care to go north will go north in order to buy something that they want and come along back, therefore benefiting you in a way that would not otherwise happen because they're not going there to be a dependent at your door.
The Ministry of Agriculture is employing a number of new technologies as it seeks to boost local food production. Agricultural Officer Tony Rollins says they include the use of drone technology and sensors to prevent water wastage. He was speaking as the ministry presented food hampers to the HIV/AIDS Food Bank, Street Lamp Ministries, and the Child Care Board.
To also get involved in the use of sensors so that we can more adequately apply irrigation water to the crops. We also want to look at drone technology where we can use the drones to assist in terms of identifying areas of a particular field that might have an issue, whether it might be flooded, a flooded area within the field. If you want to look at areas of the field that have pest populations that are affecting the crop, also you can look at the soil health using the drone technology.
Mr. Rollins also revealed plans to address the papaya bunchy top disease, which is believed to be transmitted to plants by an insect vector.
So we want to look at an individual protective covering that we can make a physical barrier around individual trees to try to prevent the insect vector from transmitting the disease to the tree. So that's one aspect we're going to look at. We're also going to look at something called metallized reflective mulches, where it will be like a covering for the ground under the tree, and it can be in various sizes, diameters. And what that does is when the sunlight reflects on the reflective mulch, it disorients the insects and tends to prevent them from mating and feeding on the plants and so on.
The chain of agriculture and Barbados plant resource use, along with youth involvement, were demonstrated yesterday at the CAFIL campus in celebration of World Food Day. The Center for Agriculture Research and Innovation of the University of the West Indies, or CAGRI, held a marketplace with a range of products available for sale.
CAGRI, the Center for Agriculture Research and Innovation at the UWI, held a marketplace at the UWI CAFIL campus to highlight this year's theme, the right to food for a better life and better future. Director at the center, Michelle Singh, spoke to CBC about the aim of the event.
It's to demonstrate to the campus community that we do have locally available produce that can be purchased as opposed to processed foods, but it's more so to show the innovation of agriculture and agro-processing and the opportunities in the agriculture and agro-processing sector for revenue generation. I've always said, and many persons would have heard me say, it's time to sexify agriculture, and there's only one way to do that, and it is to show me the money.
Dr. Singh also wants people to make a conscious decision to buy local.
When you purchase locally grown food, you empower the agriculture industry, but you also empower a farmer to continue and expand his production and build our local economy.
She's also encouraging young people to take up the profession. And one young man has been using the skills passed on by his grandparents.
We have some lamb and goat available in $20 portions, all locally grown and raised here in Barbados on the farm. We also have a bit of green bananas and plantain and pumpkin and so forth. We started out raising animals a little over 5 years ago. When we first we came around with my grandparents teaching me about the animals and the crops and everything, and from there we've been just doing our thing and trying to stay out of trouble.
This vendor spoke about the offerings from Soma Fruits and Veg.
We have cucumbers, tomatoes, we have the chive, we have the thyme, the marjoram, the parsley, the tarragon. All those are fresh herbs grown by us. We have the eggplant, we have okra, we have lime, lemon, the ruru pepper. We have a variety of pepper like the ruru pepper. We have like the scorpion pepper, this is the hottest pepper. And we also have the chili pepper.
In keeping with the theme, Barbadians are being encouraged to grow their own food as well.
Thank you so much, Wendy. Well, as Barbados joins the world in celebrating the inaugural International Day of Intangible Cultural Heritage, Minister in the Prime Minister's Office with responsibility for culture, Senator Dr. Chantel Monroe-Knight, says this occasion holds deep significance for us as a nation. In a statement, the minister notes throughout the months of September, October, and November, countries and communities across the globe will engage in various events and activities to highlight the significance of intangible cultural heritage and its role in shaping our identities and communities and cultures. The Intangible Cultural Heritage team will visit both primary and secondary schools across the country to further educate students on how we can collectively contribute to its safeguarding. Barbados submitted 2 nominations in March of 2024, road tennis and the Barbados Landship, for inscription on the UNESCO 2003 convention lists. By December 2025, Barbados will learn whether these nominations have in fact been successful. Now, quickly to sports. Barbados hammered the Bahamas 6-2 to complete a perfect CONCACAF Nations League C campaign. The Tridents, who came from behind, were led by doubles from captain Andre Applewhite and Sharon Hoyt, while there were also goals from Niall Reid-Stephen and Omani Leacock. CBC's Damien Best reports.
Barbados playing in their traditional bright yellow, hosting the Bahamas. Only 6 minutes gone, and Brandon Atherley muscles his way into the 18-yard box and finishes like a boss. Bahamas 1, Barbados 0. 2 minutes later, the Tridents restored parity via Andre Applewhite. Fortune favours the Brave. Cannot and does not miss from there. The skipper on the score sheet. Support solid. Loving it in the stands at the turf. In the twinkle of an eye, Bahamas would find themselves behind the 8 ball. Applewhite again on the move to now Reid-Stephen, who is cut down in the box. Referee says that's a penalty. Reid-Stephen from 12 yards off the fingertips of Michael Butler and in on 14 minutes. 2-1 Barbados. The pot was now bubbling and the Bajan marksmen were adding more ingredients. 26th minute, Reid-Stephen step over, neutralizes 3, and Sharon Hoyt, gorgeous finish. Oh, how sweet it is. 3-1 then, the scoreline. The Bahamas reduced the deficit before halftime when Nikolai Brathwaite's outstretched left boot redirects the volley past Kishmar Primus. 3-2 now, that's an own goal. Second half business, switch of ends, 47th minute. Barbados hunting, cross initially saved. Omani Leacock, right place, right time, pokes it home. 4-2, the score. 52nd minute now, Reid-Stephen electrifying down the right flank and turns away from 2 markers. And the cross is cutting edge for Applewhite. He says, thank you so much, buddy. Barbados on a dream run, leading 5-2. They could have had another one a couple minutes later. Guess who? Reid-Stephen almost punishing his opponents. Shakes the upright. The spectators loving it. Well, Barbados produced another moment of magic, and this time no object or player will stand in the way. Sharon Hoyt rifles this one home in the 64th minute. That's his brace, and Barbados is 6. Pleased as punch. Swagger in party mood. Barbados thrashed the Bahamas 6-2.
Tridents. That's it for our update of news at this time. Remember, 12 noon here on CBC TV8. We have a big package of news. That's our news day. And then, of course, you can tune into our radio network of stations, Q100.7 FM, 98.1 The One, and 94.7 FM for the CBC News World at 1. It's time for another break here on Morning Barbados. When we come back, we're talking about a case that's been going on for quite some time to be able to shed light on an injustice that was done to a Barbadian man many years ago, and he's telling his story. That's all next.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it. Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affairs segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it. Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, welcome back to Morning Barbados. The time has quickly gone by. It's just about 19 minutes after 7 o'clock. Want to welcome some ladies who are joining us at this time to share on a very interesting topic and all that they do in a group called the Vastate Advocacy Group. They're focusing this month on mental health and mental awareness, because October is a month that this observance really is given a platform around the globe, more so than we see in other months. So welcome to Morning Barbados, Sophia Sears Gordon, who is a teacher. Good to have you here. Also here is Valerie Suzette Jean-Marie, who is a teacher.
Thank you.
And we have with us also Sabrina Maxius, who is a former police officer.
Yes.
And of course, there's a lone gentleman here joining us on the set as well. And this is Reverend Buddy Laria, who's an advocate and active mental health campaigner. So good to have all of you with us this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, so I'll start with you, Ms. Sears Gordon, to tell us a little bit about the Vast State Advocacy Group and all that you do, what you advocate for, and why you decided to focus on mental health at this time.
Okay, all of us are involved with Elder Laria in one way or another. So it's made more sense to come together as a group because his struggle has been going on for 46 years. He has a case, I'm sure he's going to elaborate more on that. And being involved with him, it made sense for us to come together. And it's kind of pushing the feminine energy behind his case.
Okay, now Ms. Jean Marie, how did you come to be a part of the Vast State Advocacy Group?
Well, I think I'm originally from London. I'm Bayesian. I was born in London. And Mr. our elder here, he's the incident that he's about to talk to you about actually started for him in London. And my contribution is that I watched as a Bayesian that was born in London. I've watched the Windrush. I've watched my father return back to Barbados. I've watched the racism that's occurred in the United Kingdom, and I've also come back to Barbados, and I'm actually seeing the issues that are concerned with the returning back to Barbados. So I'm sort of like in the middle of everybody's wavelengths, and I can see the frequencies from all the events that happened, not just in Barbados, but also back in the United Kingdom, and marrying everything together.
And for you, Ms. Maxius, your level of involvement, or what piqued your interest in this particular area?
Okay, I met Elder Buddy Larry a few years ago, and at the time I was a police officer. I've done 19 years in the force, and my experience there allowed me to see various forms of trauma, and that would affect mental health. And I later left the job and embarked on my own business where I do meditation sessions, massage and stuff like that. And he approached me and said that he would like me to be a part of a program that would assist in helping people restore their mental health. And that is what I do.
All right, excellent. Well, it's wonderful to hear that you have so many people behind you with this story. And I myself have watched it was called The Weekend World. It was a segment on ITV where they highlighted your story from, over 40 years ago, where you were locked up in a mental health facility coming out of an incident with family, and you were held under what they called Section 25 and then under Section 26. So from your perspective, and this is based on what I saw in the presentation, but from your perspective, how did this come about? How did this happen? I mean, all these years later, and what you're saying is you're still fighting for it to be recognized as the wrong thing to have done at that point in time.
Yes, thank you. My situation was born out of what was happening to us, in particular as Caribbean people, from what we call the Windrush generation, from the 1950s and 60s. Where Britain had a problem with encouraging people like myself and others to come to Britain. And at the time, people like Enoch Powell, who was the Minister of Health at one time, began to advocate for the reduction of the vast amount of people in England. And an event happened in 1958, which
black person was killed. And that sparked what we call the race riots in Notting Hill Gate and in Nottingham. Cochrane, Culture Cochrane, I think was his name. And immediately the British government decided to have a mental health act. And this mental health act, the 1959 Mental Health Act, just after the riots, had three components, whereas the police can arrest you and put you straight in a mental institution. If the police take you to court for whatever reason, the courts can send you from the court to the mental institution. If the court decides to put you in prison, you can be sent from prison to the mental institution. And the Home Secretary had then the power, once you were sectioned, to send you back to where you were born. So it couldn't be seen as racist because you could send back to a person to Ireland, to Scotland, yes, or back to the Caribbean. As a result of that, repatriation or deportation of black people from the Caribbean started, and thousands of us were put in the mental institution and sent back to the Caribbean.
All right. Of course, I cannot because I haven't been able to examine the act myself, so I'm going solely based on what you have shared. And I must reiterate that this, of course, is Mr. Larrier sharing his own story in his own words. So from that perspective, tell us what your experience was that you're speaking of with being put into what you're calling unfairly so a mental health institution.
Well, my experience, as I said, was based on that. I had what one might call an epiphany, an awakening in 1977, where I could see the future. And part of that seeing of the future was that Barbados and the Caribbean will be elevated. And I said, wow. But I also saw the end of racism, or white supremacy. I saw that unfolding in the situation of a new political and economic world order. And all these things not only trouble me, it excite me, yes? And I started to share that with my families and colleagues. And an incident happened, which you would have heard in the documentary, where my sister and I had an argument, and somebody called the police. The police came, arrested me, and put me in a mental institution. And I, just like most Barbadians, God, you give me a vision about what I was going to do in the future, and now you have me in a mental institution. Let's have a conversation. And God, he, she, or it, the energy force we call God, told me not to worry. I will be out of the mental institution shortly. And that happened. I confronted the consultant and told him that I was leaving the mental institution like in 3 or 4 hours. He said, what are you talking about? I'm the only one who can release you, and I agreed to see you in another couple of weeks. I said, you might have power over the rest of the people, but not over me. And I gave him an ultimatum. I said, if you don't let me out, I'm a Bajan, right? I'm going to go mad. He didn't understand what that means. I'm in a mental institution, and I'm telling him I will go mad. Now, Barbadians know what that means. So I had to explain to him what I will do. And as a result of that, he didn't like what I planned to do because you've never heard about a riot in a mental institution. In prisons, yes, but not a mental institution. And I challenged him, and I was released on demand, and that was my way of accepting that there is a God, a very powerful God.
All right, so what did you do post that? Based on what I saw in the documentary and my research, I know that, you know, there are certain parts of the act that you're speaking of that give an opportunity for you to be able to challenge being locked up in a mental institution. But because of the length of time it took to be able to go through the appeals process, of course, then it kind of made no sense because you would have already spent the initial 28 days, which is imposed, and then to move into the next stage of things, which calls for Section 26 to be instituted for them to be able to hold you on a longer period. So post all of that, and once you were able to speak with ITV during this particular report, what is it that you did, and which has brought us to this place now? Because we're talking about the fact that your fight has been for over 40 years about trying to get recognition or compensation or whatever it is that you're trying to do to highlight the injustices you believe that you suffered.
And that's very important, because this is what the event we're having on Saturday at the Barbados Museum is all about. Because Barbadians, and not only Barbadians, people around the world do not know the intricacy, the way the Mental Health Act not only works, but how it came into being. Okay, so I started what I did. I immediately, 1 year after, in 1978, what I did, I said, this is not right. So I started legal action against the British health authorities for violating my human rights. And within the 10 years after that, I represented Britain in Egypt at a world conference. And my contribution was, what role does racism play in psychiatry?
Were you able to get any movement in this case that you brought against the British government?
Yes, the documentary you saw and what we are going to be seeing on Saturday, because of that and because of what I was doing, the 1959 Mental Health Act was revised. So we now have a new Mental Health Act. But the discrimination against us, our people, just like racism, did not, or just like how slavery ended, but slavery continued. The Mental Health Act was revised, but Mental Health Act against us.
So you're saying it was revised directly because of some of the work that you were able to do in putting your situation forward?
Yes.
All right, so congratulations on that. I'm moving you quickly along because, you know, this setting does not lend to being able to share the entire story. But I appreciate what you have done. We've not gotten an opportunity to speak with you ladies a great deal, but it is important to sit here and show your support. And I think that's the most important part of it. So people will have an opportunity on Saturday, October 19th at the Barbados Museum to come out. And what you're doing is you're showcasing the documentary piece?
The session is about mental health and race. So it's at the Barbados Museum on the 19th at 6 o'clock. You'll be privy to view the documentary that he's speaking about. And of course, some of his books will be available as well, in particularly Patient or Prisoner, because it's showing the whole systematic goings-ons.
And there's some credibility to what's being said. I think it's been proven through all that has happened with the Windrush generation and, many of the subsequent series that have come through as a result. So,
it's not just, sorry, it's not just the Windrush generation going one way. It's a two-way issue, because at some point, many of the Barbadians and Caribbeans actually returned back to Barbados or back to their homeland, and then there's the mental, there was the struggle of the return, of to be able to come back into their own their own country, and to be accepted and to integrate and to be able to so this is a massive topic. This is certainly not possible to cover it here, but yes, on Saturday the 19th, as my sister was saying, we will be showcasing the journey.
Well, what I was saying is, based on all that has happened with that, and because some credibility was lent to that based on the outcomes and people talking about what happened with that, the connections have been made in terms of what you are hoping to bring forward on Saturday. So give us more details, Ms. Maxius, on Saturday for people to be able to come out and discuss this. It is Patients or Prisoners, very provocative title, Skin, Race and Mental Health. Very, very interesting. So talk to us about all that will happen on Saturday and how people, do you have to register, how people can be a part of it?
On Saturday, as they were saying, is at the museum. You just come out. It's a free event, and you'll be given insight on Mr. Larry's long and tumultuous journey, on how he was affected being in a mental health institution, and Barbadians will be given the knowledge and feedback on how they can go about doing things correctly to avoid being put in those situations as well.
All right, I want to thank you all for coming in and sharing with us.
Let me briefly add this story.
Sure.
The launch, what is happening on Saturday is a launch for the Caribbean.
Okay.
The following Saturday, on the 26th, it will be launched in England for the European and Africa. And on the 27th, there will be what you call an all-party conference in London on reparation. So it's all linked to what has happened to us. And this weekend, or this month, bring all that together.
And this is all in collaboration with the Vast Group?
That's right.
So there are various groups in other places, or will you be traveling to these other places for the launches?
Well, the Vast, there are some women or sisters in England is setting the Vast group in England forward. And then obviously we'll be going across the Caribbean.
We have members here in Barbados, and we also have members in London, and it's going to spread throughout the Caribbean, because Vast means change, and it's each of us working in our own way towards the change that we want. It's a societal change, but right now it's impacted by mental health and race, and as I said, really energy, female energy, helping to push Adelaria's case.
All right, good stuff. I want to thank you all for coming in and sharing with us, of course. Every time I say bye, you look like you want to add something else.
I want to say that the case that has been in the British legal system for 46 years is now in its conclusion stage. You get what I'm saying?
All right, that is why it was important for us to share that this is you telling your story.
That's right.
And not having explored the full extent of the case. It is important for us to share that this is your side of things.
That's right.
But I wish you the best possible outcome. I most certainly cannot imagine what it would be like to wake up one day in a mental health institution and feel like you're not supposed to be there, or that it was inflicted on you because of race or some other reason apart from mental health. So thank you for bringing attention to this worthwhile cause, and of course something that comes home. A lot of the times we advocate for things that are so far removed that, you know, we can't place a face alongside what we are advocating for. But here's a situation where you absolutely can, where the person is still with us and can share his side of things. So I wish you best, and I'm sure that you will continue to update us on what happens with the entire incident. Again, thank you, ladies.
Thank you very much.
All right, for people who want to be a part of the VASIT group, I'm sure that you will be able to. This weekend, again, is Saturday the 19th, and it's at the Barbados Museum, 6:30. It's absolutely free. You don't have to worry about that. Mental health and race, spirituality, and the like, all under the microscope, and giving you an opportunity to be able to view the documentary and share as well. All right, it's time for another break here on Morning Barbados, but we have lots more coming up, so do stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love crew.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, good morning and welcome back. Already 17 minutes to go before the 8 o'clock hour. Every time I see this guy, he's so busy. But it's always wonderful to have you with us. Mr. Kevin Moore of Trumpet Boy Entertainment. On this occasion, that's the hat you're wearing. So welcome, Kevin.
Good morning, Barbados. Thank you for having me, Tisha.
And I'm always so excited to hear about Trumpet Boy Entertainment because of the backstory, even behind the name.
Yeah.
So for those people just tuning in, let's talk a little bit about your journey and how Trumpet Boy Entertainment came into being.
Well, Trumpet Boy Entertainment came into being simply because they needed to put a name behind the business that I was doing. And I used the email Trumpet Boy from the time I was in secondary school, so I just continued with it as Trumpet Boy Entertainment. And we went into music arranging, composing, scoring, event management, and we've branched on into the entire entertainment field at this moment.
Now, your father, your late father, also shared your love for music. I want to hear more about that, and then we're going to get into the show that you're doing, that you do annually, because of that love for music that you shared with your dad.
Yes, please. So my dad was an organist in the Methodist Church for over 50 years at Cedar Methodist Church. Funny enough, you know, people say don't teach your children. My father, I never really engaged in music on an educational level together. However, he was an organist at the Methodist Church, and he was a teacher at Spikestone Boys School when that was up. So that was a while ago. And he would have died from prostate cancer in 2020, and we've tried to find a way to honor his legacy while still using music that he would appreciate. So we came up with this show, the Love Divine Show. This is our second year running. Last year was amazing. So we're running it again. Last year we were able, all the proceeds go towards cancer support services to help those within the community who need the help but do not have the resources. And cancer support services not only helps the persons who are suffering from cancer, who have to deal with it on a daily basis, but they help those who, the families of those persons, help them care for those persons, and it gives counseling to those families, etc. So we saw that as a worthwhile cause, and we do the show in my father's name to donate all proceeds to cancer support services. Last year we were able to donate over $14,000, and this year we're hoping that we could increase on that donation for the cancer support services.
Tell me the shape that the show takes, and just the name of the show takes me back to early school days, all of the hymns we used to sing at school.
Yeah, so the shape is basically, we've taken the hymns from the Methodist Church and rearranged them in modern Caribbean ways, modern forms, so that it sounds, you know, more, I don't want to use the word palatable, but more upbeat, up-tempo. And we found innovative ways to rearrange those hymns, as well as many of the gospel songs that we know and love today. And so we've merged them together into a beautiful harmony of music. The show is amazing. We have some amazing acts as well. So it's going to be a lovely show.
What are some of these acts that we're talking about, Kevin?
So, I mean, any gospel show in Barbados and you do not have James Deacott, is it really a gospel show?
There you go.
Right. So we have James Deacott, who's lending his services to the cause as well. We have Mikey and John Yard. We have Shem White, Mikkel Gooding, Marlon Legal Voice Project, Elite Votes, sorry. We have Fiona John, and so much more.
Andre Woodvine, my goodness.
So much more.
And of course you have Salem Methodist Choir being a part of it as well.
Right, and Salem Methodist Choir would have been the choir that my dad would have led while he was the organist at Salem Methodist Church. So that's very important.
What's in the name? Love Divine, all loves excelling, joy of heaven and earth come down.
The name is actually, it just came to me, to be honest, when I finally decided to start the music for the show, because it was a concept that was toyed with for a very long time before we actually started work. And when I finally decided to start, Love Divine was the first arrangement that I did for the show. And that spoke volumes to me, and we just went with that. We went with that.
It's a beautiful title. I told you that, that I love it, and congratulations on being able to donate $14,000 to this worthy cause because of what you do. Now the show is coming off at the Frank Cullimore Hall again, and it's this coming Sunday.
Yes, please. Sunday, 6 p.m. Frank Cullimore Hall. Tickets are $70. You can get your tickets from our box offices, which are CS Pharmacy, Saul Warrens, iShop Sheraton, the James Street Methodist Church. Cancer support services are from us at Trumpet Boy, and you can reach us at 235-8761 or 230-8396, and we can be found on all social media platforms at Trumpet Boy Entertainment.
Oh, that's beautiful. Now, for the show itself, you also have a lot of partners, a lot of sponsors who come on board to be a part of it.
Yes, please. We could never do a show like this without massive input from corporate Barbados because the costs to put on a show like this are staggering. So we have assistance from Cancer Support Services, Ticket Links, the Methodist Church, James Street Spikestone Circuit, Executive Media Co., IGM Lighting Solutions, GS Sound Systems, Caribbean Broadcasting Corporation, Frank Cullimore Hall, AccuSounds, Butterfly Creative, Bipolar Eye, Motion Frame Productions, DB Productions, Magical Moments, Ari Callis Rentals and Sales, and AMB Music and Supplies.
All right, so it's in your father's name as well. So it's Love Divine 2.
Yes, please.
And is it Sylvan or Sylvian?
Sylvian.
Sylvian Moore Memorial Concert.
Yes,
what does this do for you on a personal note to be able to share more about your father, carry on his legacy, and contribute in this way?
For me, it was really about give back to the society. I feel like if my mom, bless her, was able to afford my dad the care that many persons in Barbados cannot through this battle with cancer. And I saw the struggle that we as a family went through, but she bore the brunt of the financial responsibility. And as I said, many persons cannot sustain it. So the reality is persons need assistance. When we first came up with the show, I think we were finished all the music and the entire concept before we even got to Cancer Support Services, because we wanted it to be perfect when we pitched to them, and they were like, but we can't sponsor a show like this. And we were like, the only thing you have to do is allow us to use your name.
Yes.
And everything will come to you. And I think they were pretty happy last year with the product, and they're happy again this year. So we're hoping to have a packed house, Frank Cullimore Hall, Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening, 6 p.m. Tickets are $70 at the box offices again. CS Pharmacy, Saul Warrens, iShop Sheraton, James Street Methodist Church, Cancer Support Services, and us at Trumpet Boy Entertainment, 235-8761, 230-8396. We're doing ticket deliveries, or you can check us on social media and organize to get your tickets. Our social media at Trumpet Boy Entertainment on Instagram and Facebook. And as I said, we're doing ticket deliveries. So we're hoping to see all of Barbados there.
That's excellent. I don't know if all of Barbados can fit in the hall, so get your tickets in the early. Congratulations to you and your team, sponsors and partners, Kevin. This is an amazing initiative, and I certainly hope that you fill out the hall and you're able to continue to contribute in this remarkable way.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Make sure you check it out at Trumpet Boy Entertainment online for further details. Tickets are just $70. And you will love it. I've been bothering him about this show all year.
Yes, you have.
All right, time for another break. When we come back, we wrap. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, so welcome back. We're joined now by Liam Paris-Boyne. He is with the Employability Unit, Branding and Promotions Consultant with the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment. And we have Ariel with us, who is a 2023 participant in the I Am Conference. So welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Of course, this is an opportunity for us to speak about the I Am Conference. Liam, that's coming up at the end of October.
Yes, please. So the I Am Conference is an event to empower young persons between the ages of 16 and 35, while also giving them the knowledge to make that next step into their future. So we want to accomplish this by having several breakout rooms covering areas such as sports, entrepreneurship and employment, the orange economy, which consists of social media and content creation, the environment. And what else we have there going?
Just about everything.
Just about everything. We're covering a good few things. Yeah. But also young persons and participants are able to obtain things like bank accounts, TAMIS numbers, professional counseling services. And also we're going to have some CV clinics where HR professionals are going to come in and they're going to go through the CVs to help you to improve your CV as well. So that is the I Am Conference in a nutshell.
Oh, that's beautiful. And people in marketing tell you shouldn't use this term, but it's a one-stop shop.
Yes, please. Everything is
to
going to
be able
there.
to get everything. For you, though, Ariel, what was your experience in participating in 2023?
Well, I would definitely say it was an amazing experience. Going to the conference, I didn't know what to expect, but from seeing what was going to be involved, I was really excited. At the time, I wasn't really doing anything, so I said I would make the time to go to the conference, see what I could get from it. And there was so much. There was a lot of information, the opportunity to network with a lot of persons you wouldn't normally get to. I even got to get my ID at the time because, that was a whole thing where no one was getting to go to get it. So I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed meeting the people that I got to meet, even the CV clinic. The fact that actual HR professionals were there to help you with that process as well, answer your questions. I love that as well. And also the opportunity to talk to the different advisors who were there, the different speakers. I love that as well because you wouldn't get that opportunity on a day-to-day basis.
Absolutely. Now, it spans 3 days, Liam.
Yes,
so you're going to be dealing with different topics on every day. And I'm happy to hear that you're also incorporating sports.
Yes, please.
Because there's so many young people throughout the years who have gone into sports careers, but then, the business community and what you're able to do doesn't really match up.
Yeah.
So to be able to do basic things like start a bank account and so on, it's good that we have all of these people in one space to be able to thrash out some of these challenges.
Yes, please. So on the first day, as we're looking to have the secondary schools and the tertiary institutions along with persons living with disabilities. On the second day now, we're going to have the community and youth groups coming in along with the general public. And the third day brings together everyone on that third day. So for persons who wouldn't have gotten to go to the sports room and they want to know about the opportunities in sports, they can then come on that third day to get into that room to get the opportunity to hear the journey of some of the sports personnel who are going to be there.
So how do we register to be a part of the I Am Conference? I say we, but I'm out of the age range.
You can still come, But correspondence has gone out to the schools and the tertiary institutions along with the community and youth groups. You can also go on the ministry social media pages. So on Instagram, that is DivYouth246. On Facebook, that is the Division of Youth Affairs. Or you can also feel free to call us at 535-3835 to register as well.
All right, good stuff. What advice would you give anyone who's looking on like you, the position you were in last year, not doing anything, and you saw this conference, you're like, maybe I should go?
I would definitely say attend the conference and get as much information as you can. Take the opportunity to talk to persons that you wouldn't normally get the opportunity to. I would say put the fear aside because I know it can be a little scary talking to a stranger or even talking to the person next to you, because even with the seating, you were able to do that, have conversations with other persons like yourself. Do as much talking as you can, network as much as you can, because it can get you into rooms that you would never expect. And also, as you are taking in the information, be open to the advice that you are given, because it would really change your perspective on how you think of your life now, and it would be able to help you to grow even better as a person.
You're a great ambassador for the conference. I'm ready to go. Liam, but we're going to be hearing a whole lot more about it.
Yes, please.
So congratulations to the ministry on putting on the conference again this time around. And that little nugget, gold nugget that Ariel dropped on you a moment ago, it can get you into rooms that you never thought were possible. Just consider that as you consider whether you're going to come out to the I Am conference happening at the end of this month. So get online, Div Youth at them, Div Youth 246 on Instagram to be able to find out more. Thank you both for coming in and sharing, and we most certainly will see Liam a whole lot more.
Yes, please.
All right, so today is Q Day. It's Thursday. That means we want you to follow us, the Q in the community. And we're over at Buffy's Bar in Marlow in Christchurch from 11 o'clock this morning. Our live broadcast starts around 12 noon on Q 100.7 FM. So check out the Q page for live streaming and updates as well. Plus, there's a free health and wellness fair. Get control of your health with Sagicor. Discover how to be a healthier you at our health and wellness fair is coming up and talking about NCDs, giving you a better tomorrow. So be sure to check out on that as well. Tomorrow on Morning Barbados, we're going to go across the seas to our neighbors in St. Vincent. And we had a contributor when we covered the tropical storm earlier, the hurricane Beryl earlier this year, and he was reporting for us and giving updates to us here in Barbados. He's now in Barbados, and we are going to have him in studio and kind of make the link with that. So we expect Ken Vilhorn to be here with us. Plus, the BTMI will be in to talk about the Bajan Fair and the Q Zone that will be there. That's all coming up tomorrow on Morning Barbados. Happy Thursday. See you guys tomorrow, God willing. Bye-bye.